Banishing Arrow is an orb you stick onto an enemy which does nothing by itself. If the marked enemy then takes any form of damage from you specifically, a 3-second timer will start and 50% of all damage done to the enemy within those 3 seconds will be dealt again in the form of an explosion. Charging this PA only increases the projectile speed and explosion radius, while perfect attacking this PA will increase its damage from 50% to 65%. This is definitely something you should get used to using, as it will soon become a staple of your bossing rotation, and is also really helpful when charged to clear out packs of trash mobs. There is really no best PA combo with this, as you should be using different bow PAs alongside banishing depending on the situation and how big your resource pool is. Master Shot is one of your go-to PAs for quick damage. It shoots out 3 arrows uncharged and 5 arrows charged, all of which have homing properties. However, their tracking does have issues when it goes up against fast, constantly moving enemies, and keep in mind that their damage does fall off at long range. Even so, it's a great tool to have against single targets and is commonly looped into a banishing combo. Penetrating Arrow fires a powerful piercing projectile that passes through enemies and can hit multiple times. Charging it, however, will only increase its size and damage. This ends up being one of your best PAs since it can be used for a range of things from clearing out packs or hallways to including into your Banishing Arrow combo on bosses. Gravitic Vortex is your main tool for grouping up enemies and is very helpful in a group if no one else is doing so. Charging this PA will only make the suction effect even stronger. Torrential Arrow will have you fire a shot upwards to then rain down arrows at the target location, which can also stun weaker enemies. If used uncharged, it will only last about a second, though when charged it will last much longer. This pairs very well with Gravitic Vortex, and since it damages from the top down, it can be useful to hit enemies who have frontal block. Strike Bomber, uncrafted, will flip you backwards and fire off an explosive arrow which tracks your target extremely well. While in the air, you also have iframes and super armor to everything but damage over time effects. There's then the crafted version of Strike Bomber, which is very similar. However, it allows you to charge this for even more damage and an even bigger explosive radius. And this also lets you flip forwards or backwards no matter where you're aiming at. You may cancel out of this before firing and directly after firing. Final Nemesis is the strongest PA the bow has access to. In short, it has a 3-second windup, during which you will slowly be raised into the air, and can then adjust your target all the way up until the arrow is actually fired. Though when fired, it has piercing properties, so it can pass through enemies. Ideally, this is something you'd like to commit to, as you're stuck in place during the long charge up. Luckily, you can cancel out of this at any time just before the arrow is ready to be shot. Million Storm deals damage in fixed intervals to everything that is in line with its cylindrical animation. It will cost a little bit of PP upon activation, and can then be channeled for as long as you'd like at the cost of continuously draining your PP. Its damage does fall off at range and is mainly used for clearing trash or tightly grouped up enemies. Kamikaze Arrow turns you yourself into an arrow, which then launches itself out a short distance. When making contact with an enemy, you will then trigger the second part of this PA, which kick flips you backwards and oddly scales off of melee power, unlike the beginning of the PA, which goes off of ranged power. Charging this only makes it stronger too. Though a few things to keep in mind is that there are no iframes during any part of this PA, and if you come in contact with an object or surface, you will also stop. Kickshot Combo is an extremely close range flurry of kicks and bow shots, and is extended when charged. During the animation, you can control the direction of which you move and attack, however when used in the air you are mostly stuck in place. This then eventually gets a crafted version which is essentially the same thing but stronger and has a slightly different animation. And in case you were wondering, both of these versions do scale off of ranged power even though they have kicks. Chase Arrow does not currently exist yet in NA, but I'd like to go over it to give you an idea of what to expect in the future, just like how I went over the crafted PAs. So, getting right to it, Chase Arrow itself is more of a priming ability, which when used on an enemy, will stock up 3 arrows that will be fired out automatically when using other PAs. This really shines by increasing the damage of your banishing combos by being able to get in extra hits without really changing anything up during the 3-second window. And that's about it for Bow PAs. But before I let you guys go, if you'd like to know more about Bow Braver, take a look at Argus's Bow Braver guide, which further breaks down everything you might want to know about Bow Braver, including a closer look at many PA combos. As always, the links are in the description. Take care.